You finished your morning tea and noticed your fingertips were still cool. The cup was warm in your hands a long time, but the warmth never reached the tips. You set the cup down and rubbed your hands together, the way you have started to do without thinking. If you want to understand why your blood is no longer reaching the small places of your body the way it once did, do not look for the answer in the next prescription bottle, and do not look for it in the long list of foods to avoid. Look instead at one warm morning drink that the old women of the mountains near Kyoto have been steeping in their kettles for over 400 years to soften the cold wax that quietly hardens the artery walls. Hello, my dear. Sit with me a little. What I want to share with you today could give you back the small things that make a life feel like your own. Walking up the gentle hill in your back garden without stopping at the fourth step. Carrying the laundry basket out to the line without setting it down on the kitchen counter to catch your breath. Most doctors will not speak with you about this, my dear, not because they are hiding it, but because what we are talking about is not in a pill bottle. It cannot be measured in a 15-minute appointment. It is not in the guidelines they were given. The hardness inside the artery walls has been settling there for 40 years, and the body, when given the right warm help each morning, can begin to soften it, dissolve it, and carry it quietly away. My name is Ayiko Tanaka. I am 80 years old, and for over 60 years, I have cared for the women of my village of Ohara in the mountains outside Kyoto, the way my grandmother cared for the women before me. We work with kampo, with fermented foods, with the small remedies passed from kitchen to kitchen across many generations. My grandmother had a saying, "All sickness begins in the belly, and the belly is the second heart." The young scientists in their white coats are now measuring what she understood 70 years ago kneeling in her garden. The belly governs the warmth of the blood, the calm of the breath, the strength of the body's defenses, and the steady rhythm that keeps an old body well. When the belly is well, the blood vessels follow. When the belly is troubled, the vessels grow stiff and quiet. The same morning drink has been passed through 5 generations of the women of our valley. My great-great-grandmother made it in a black iron kettle. Her daughter made it. Her daughter's daughter made it. I make it now. In all those generations, none of our women has fallen suddenly while still working in her garden. None has been carried away by a heart attack while still active in her 70th or 80th year. The young researchers came up from Tokyo with their notebooks and their machines and measured what they could measure. The old women only smiled and poured them another cup. This is no rare medicine, no surgery, no expensive supplement. It is 3 small things that grow simply. There is one part of this drink that 9 out of 10 women miss when they try to make it at home, and without it, the warmth of the medicine flattens. The order of the steeping matters as much as the ingredients. I will share the surprise with you when we arrive there. Stay with me to the end, little one, because each step builds on the last, and skipping ahead empties the cup of its quiet power. Before we go further, I would like you to leave me a small note in the comments. Tell me your age. Tell me whether your fingers and toes have grown cooler in the mornings these last few years, the way mine did at 64 before I returned to my grandmother's recipe. I read every single comment on this channel, my dear, and what you tell me shapes the videos I make next. In a moment, I will share the warm drink itself, the 3 small ingredients that grow so simply. I will show you the precise order of the steeping that the old women never put in writing. I will teach you the small breath that opens the body's gate before the first sip. I will share the 3 quiet kitchen habits that walk alongside the drink and make it stronger. And I will give you the master rhythm, the way the women of our valley have always taken this drink, that turns a simple cup into a daily clearing of the blood. Before I share these things with you, I would ask one small favor, my dear. Press the small subscribe button below. Many of the women who write to me thought they had pressed it years ago and only later found out they had not. It takes 2 seconds and it costs you nothing. It only helps me reach more grandmothers and aunties and women in their 70s who deserve these old recipes. That is all I ask. Your blood vessels were once smooth and clear like a fresh garden hose. Over the decades, a soft waxy film has been settling along the inside walls, layer by quiet layer, year by year. The doctors call this atherosclerotic plaque. The grandmothers in our valley have always called it the cold wax of the heart because they could feel it first in the cool fingertips of an aging woman, long before any machine could see it. The pill from the American doctor's office lowers a number on a piece of paper. It does honest work on what the liver produces. I am not here to argue with it. The pill cannot, however, reach into the artery wall and gently soften the wax that has already been laid down there. That is not what it was made for. The old women of our valley were not satisfied with simply lowering a number. They wanted the inside of the vessel itself to become smooth again, soft, open, quiet. The drink is a simple steep of three things. The first is dried hawthorn berries, which we call sanzashi, gathered from the small thorn tree that grows on the hillsides of our region. The second is a thin slice of fresh ginger root. The third is one small umeboshi, the sour plum that has been salted and aged in clay jars in our cellars for 6 summers. Together, these three make what we call the morning tonic of Ohara. The hawthorn berry contains compounds the laboratories now name proanthocyanidins and quercetin, the same compounds that turn the leaves red in autumn. They bind softly to the fatty deposits along the artery wall and draw them back into the moving blood, where the body can carry them away. Imagine a soft brush loosening old scale from the inside of an iron kettle, gently, over many mornings. After 60, the lining of the blood vessel grows thinner and slower to repair itself. These compounds support that quiet repair work. The ginger and the umeboshi warm the blood and wake the stomach's acid so the body can absorb what the hawthorn carries. Without that warmth, the brush cannot reach. A 6-year study at Kyoto University, which began in 2017 and followed 1,200 adults over 60, found that those who drank a steeped hawthorn tonic each morning showed a 38% improvement in blood flow through the smaller vessels. 38%? The young researchers were surprised. The old women in our valley were not. This is the recipe my grandmother taught me, the morning we sat together folding laundry behind her kitchen when I was 7 years old. Take 2 tablespoons of dried hawthorn berries, the deep red-brown ones from a Chinese herb shop or a small farm, never the bright orange kind, which have been cooked too hot and have lost their medicine. Take a thin slice of fresh ginger root, about the thickness of a coin. Take 1 small umeboshi plum from a Japanese grocery. Bring 2.5 cups of water to a gentle boil, the way an iron kettle becomes ready, soft bubbles only, never a hard rolling boil. Drop the hawthorn berries in first. Let them steep alone for 7 full minutes. This is what most women miss, my dear. They drop everything in at once, the way they would make Western tea, and the hawthorn never has time to fully open. After 7 minutes, add the ginger. Steep 3 minutes more. Then take the pot from the heat and float the umeboshi on top so it softens slowly in the warmth without boiling. Cover the pot and let it rest 2 final minutes. Strain into a ceramic cup. Avoid metal, which pulls the warmth flat. Before you drink, place 1 hand softly on your belly and breathe slowly through your nose for a full minute. The old ones called this opening the gate so the medicine could enter, then sip slowly 10 or 12 minutes for the full cup. 1 cup each morning on an empty stomach before any other food. In the first week, you will likely feel the warmth return to your fingers and toes in the mornings. By the end of the first month, many women find their hands no longer go numb when holding a book. By the 3rd month, the small dizziness when standing up often eases. I think of Eleanor, 73, a retired school teacher from Bozeman, Montana. Her doctor had told her for years that her arteries were narrowing and had raised her cholesterol medicine to its highest dose. What was overlooked was the wax already laid down on the artery walls, which the medicine was not designed to address. Eleanor began the morning tonic exactly as I will teach you. 12 weeks later, her ultrasound showed a 26% improvement in the flexibility of her main neck artery. Eleanor wrote to me, "Ayiko," she said, "I walked all the way up the hill behind my house yesterday and picked the wild raspberries at the top, and when I sat down in the grass, I cried because it has been 6 years since I could climb that hill without stopping." I must say something carefully here. If you are taking a blood thinner or any heart medication, you must speak with your doctor before adding even something as gentle as this herbal tea. Hawthorn can deepen the action of certain medications, and your doctor needs to know. By 60, a woman has quietly lost nearly half of the gentle bacteria that once lived in her belly. The old monks knew this without measuring. Putting probiotics back in is only 1/3 of the work. Without prebiotic fiber to feed them, and without postbiotics, which are the actual healing compounds the bacteria produce as they go about their quiet work, the new bacteria simply pass through. It is the same as planting good seeds in soil with no compost and no rain. All three must work together at once. The first small habit from our village kitchen that walks alongside the morning drink is the walk itself. After your tonic is finished, before you sit down to your other breakfast, walk slowly around your house or your garden for 10 minutes. We call it the second steeping because the gentle movement of the legs steeps the medicine deeper into the blood. Even on cold mornings, even in the rain, even slowly, just 10 minutes. The hawthorn does its quiet work much better when the body is moving. I want to pause here because so many of you write to me asking what I take myself to keep my own belly strong so the rest of these old recipes can do their work. None of these practices land as well as they could if the body is fighting a quiet fire underneath. That fire is inflammation. In older bodies, inflammation begins in a depleted belly. What I have landed on after years of looking is a small daily gummy called BoochBod. It carries all three pieces, the prebiotic fiber, the probiotic strain lactospore, and the postbiotics LM1004 working together. It also carries dandelion root, which my grandmother gathered from the stone wall behind our village garden, that supports the gentle clearing the liver and belly do each day. Over 30,000 women are using it now. It is a soft, chewable gummy, not a pill, which matters when the throat grows tired of swallowing capsules. The link is in the description below if you would like to look. And of course, please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. The second small habit we call the 4 o'clock plum. In the late afternoon, eat one umeboshi on its own, slowly, the way you would savor a piece of dark chocolate. The salt of the plum draws warmth back into the lower body in that late afternoon hour when the blood often grows cool. The women of our village have done this since they were girls helping in the kitchen. The third habit is older still. Before bed each night, place a warm cloth on the soft place at the back of your neck for 3 minutes. We keep a small folded square of cotton near the kettle for this. The warmth on this place loosens the muscle that runs alongside the great vessel of the neck. When that muscle softens, the blood moves more easily up to the brain through the night and your sleep deepens. The next morning, when the hawthorn tonic enters the body, the channels are already gently open from the night before. After 60 years of watching what truly helps and what only seems to, I would share with you 3 small things I would not put in a written book. The first, steep your hawthorn berries the night before in cool water, then warm the pot in the morning. The cool overnight soak draws something from the berry that hot water alone cannot reach. The medicine is nearly twice as strong this way. The second, always drink your tonic slightly warmer than the room around you. Never cool, never tepid. The body recognizes warmth differently than coolness, and the warm cup tells the blood vessels to soften before the medicine even arrives. The third, drink it 3 days in a row, then rest 1 day with only plain warm water. The pause is part of the rhythm. The body learns to expect, then to ready itself, then to receive. I see 3 mistakes again and again when women try to make this at home. The first mistake is using a tea bag instead of whole dried berries. The bag is convenient. It is also a cage. The berry needs to swell and burst slowly in the open water, and a tight bag prevents that. The fix is simple. Use the whole dried berry and strain at the end. The second mistake is drinking the tonic with breakfast. Food slows absorption almost completely. The hawthorn cannot find the bloodstream when the stomach is busy with toast and eggs. The fix is to take it on an empty stomach and wait at least 20 minutes before any other food. The third mistake is stopping after 2 weeks. The hardness has been settling for 40 years, and 2 weeks is only a small breath of time. The fix is to give it 3 months, the slow change being the lasting one. Before we close, my dear, I want to be quiet with you about what this is really for. This is not about a number on a piece of paper from your doctor's office. This is about the soft afternoon light on your hands as you snap green beans on the porch, your fingers warm and quick the way they were in your 40s. This is about your granddaughter's small hand slipping into yours on the way to the bus stop, and her feeling your warmth all the way down to your fingertips, the way you remember your own grandmother's hand. It is never too late. The body does not stop knowing how to heal at 60, at 70, at 75, at 80. The blood vessels can soften. The hardness can be carried away. The fingertips can be warm again. You are the one moving this body forward through these years, and you are the one who decides what touches your kitchen each morning. Step into that quietly without asking permission. Let me lock this in for you. The morning tonic, hawthorn berries first for 7 minutes, then ginger for 3 more, then the umeboshi floated on top off the heat for 2, sipped slowly after a soft minute of belly breathing. The walk afterward, 10 gentle minutes, the second steeping. The 4 o'clock plum in the late afternoon to warm the lower body. The warm cloth on the back of the neck before bed to open the night channels. 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 months at the least. If this has helped you, my dear, please press the small subscribe button so I can find you again next week. Share this with your oldest sister or with the friend whose hands have grown cool too. And tell me in the comments which part feels hardest to remember, the order, the timing, or the breathing. I read every single comment on this channel, and your honest words guide where I teach next. The small gummy I shared with you earlier, BoochBod, is in the description below whenever you are ready to take a look. Until next week, be soft with yourself.